Ed, your first time. All right, I jumped out of the scale for that one. I have an idea for maybe next week. Is I want to do the triad thing. I really want to do that. So maybe we'll do that next week because that's a great exercise. It's, if nothing else, it's a great like a exercise, picking exercise. But also hybrid scales. So like on what I just did there, which sounds so fun, is I'm kind of playing. I'm playing it in the Dorian scale, but really that's a snippet from the G minor 6. Right. The E, D, E, and then G, B flat. But to do that, and then to take that B flat up to the, it's also kind of the major thing. We didn't do that. It's actually right in there with the major pentatonic that when I added the blues notes. But it's a really fun little lick. It's just happy. So let me show that to you right now. It's kind of pseudo within the Dorian. It's definitely within the G major blues that we did. When was that? That would have been week 3. Yeah. So it falls in there. The only thing is I'm playing that B on the G string instead of on the B string. So where we are at today, 7th week of this. It's crazy. So this will be, we've done 18 lessons so far. So like this is the 19th lesson on this subject. But here, play the open D, and then 2nd fret on the, so play the E, D, E, and then open G. Actually, do go back to the E, so go D, E, G, E. Open 2nd fret, open G string, and back to the 2nd fret. And then we're going to go to the B flat on the 3rd fret and just slide up. I guess you could call that a grace note. The grace note, hey everybody, so I'm going to say hi in a second here. The grace note is the B flat. The landing note is really where we want to kind of emphasize is the B natural. Same as the open B string, but it doesn't have as much. It doesn't have the same impact when you play it on the open B string, right? So that's where style and technique come into play. Like if you were to read that in music, you might go, but in tab you would see, oh, so this tab can notate style and is I think more easily notate things like slides. If you can put slides and those kind of things in music notation too, but okay. So let me say hellos here because I don't want to get too far behind. You guys are so faithful. I can't believe it. Ed, I said hi to you already, so never mind. Hey Bruce, good to see you, man. How you doing? How's my cigar box guitar coming? I'm just messing with you, man. Take your time. And you wanted a good seat. That's good. I like that. Yes, we were watching that Woody Allen documentary, and somebody asked him, "How do you feel about death?" And he did. I thought he would say something funny, and I said, I turned to Beth and I said, "We've never been closer." And she started laughing. I said, "That would have been a Woody Allen line." I've been a Woody Allen fan since I was a kid, and big fan of stand-up comedy and of his in general stand-up comedy, but his as well. And really, kind of when I was trying to be an intellectual, got into his movies. Manhattan and Hannah Sisters, Stardust Memories, which is not very good, but in fact, I saw Stardust Memories with my mom. It's a really weird movie to see with a mom. But she was a Woody Allen fan too. She liked. What was it? Annie Hall? That was his kind of breakout one. But anyway, so yeah. How do I feel about death? We've never been closer, which is true for everyone. So Bruce, let's see. Hook, Bob, good to see you. Sam, I'm assuming my Greek bouzouki is on its way. We'll see. XL, good to see you, man. Holly, awesome. Do we have Dennis? Is Dennis here yet? Let's see. Holly. Pepper, good to see you. Pepper's done stand-up comedy. That is I think the single hardest job in the entertainment industry. At least the single hardest job in front of people. Mainly because, like I've said this before, but with stand-up comedy, you know almost immediately if you're going to bomb or not. And with music, it's kind of like, as long as you feel like you played a good set, you don't really care. People tend to just not listen. They tend to talk and drink their drinks and whatever. And when you do music in a club or whatever, it's like, people don't like you. They don't really ever throw tomatoes at you. But boy, silence is deafening when you're a stand-up comic. It takes a lot of guts to get up there. Let's see, Bob. Let's see. Who else is on here? Hey, Bob. Let's see. Bob. AJ. I'm kind of forgetting. Okay, Hero. Oh, AJ. I haven't said hi to AJ. Okay. Hi, AJ. Wow. No, don't do anything on my part, Bob, or Bruce. I'm good. I'm getting there with it. He's building me a. So if you're new to the channel, you can go to the Discord, and since Dennis isn't here, I'll grab the Discord link right now and post it. You can go there and see how the build is going. He's posting pictures of that. Let's see, introductions. I've got to grab the link here so we can pin that. I also need to give you the link for the jam track that I was just playing to. It's probably my most popular jam track. Although it's weird, some of the Locrian ones are pretty big. Locrian, remember, is that scale that's largely theoretical. It's like a C major scale, but start on the B note and end on the B note, and it just sounds unresolved, right? Okay. And so the Locrian scale is. Because remember we talked about this a long time ago, but the 5 of it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is a tritone away. That F major doesn't really resolve to the B half diminished. That's not a strong resolution, so it's not horrible, but like the 5. Oh, no, that was the 5. See, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 6 is a major. So it's a totally bizarre mode and scale. And those actually, my Locrian jam tracks actually get a lot of spins because there are none out there. But I get occasionally people saying, well, that's not Locrian, that's not B Locrian, that's C major. And it's mainly because the only thing that's B in the jam track is the bass note, kind of hitting these eighth note pulse. And what I did was the secret, the recipe for making these jam tracks for the modes was to take the 4 and 5 chord in the relative major. So F to G and put it over the bass note. So if I play F and G over a B, sounds something like this, like. It's definitely got Locrian tendencies, and I learned that from Joe Satriani. It's something he did. That alone is a pretty good exercise right there. But oh, okay. You guys stay in touch. That's funny. Y'all know what each other's up to. The F and G on top. This F and G and over a B. So it creates a very weird sound. But I get people saying that's just C, because they're hearing a C. They're hearing a C in the bass because they're probably listening on a laptop or maybe on their phone or something. That bass note is maybe too low. I put it too low. And I need to maybe have another kind of, maybe a drone or something like that in there of a B so that they could hear it. So anyway, look, he's got the hook. So let's see. Becker, hey, how's it going? Good to see you. Hopefully you got some students today. Michael Mason. I just put away my lute. I was doing some more lute playing this weekend. JF, how's it going? Quick question. Should you use a tuner to assist learning the fretboard? Well, you know, that's not a bad idea. I use a tuner sometimes when I'm playing slide, if I can't hear myself very well. You know, try to keep it in the green. If the slide, yeah, if the tuner can pick it up. So yeah, you could totally do that. That's not a bad idea. If you're playing if you're working on the fretboard, or if you want to test your work, for example, if you're trying to find an F on every, and you're not sure, like, is this F? Oh yeah, it says F. Yeah, totally. That's a great idea. Like I said, I've used it with slide, especially if I can't hear myself very well. If the drummer's too low, if I'm sitting next to the drummer or something like that. So. Who else is here? Oh, Aslan, good to see you. You're here. No, you're not too late. We haven't even learned the scale yet. We did learn a cool lick. I'll show it again now. Okay. So let's see. We're at about 14 minutes in. Let's. That's for Dash's. Dash is, I think, watching every video right now. He's like, he just hit 74 or something. And so he's marking on any videos that had not been marked as to where the lesson starts. And it was like, oh my gosh, it's just a big affirmation that I'm too talkative. Every day I get this little, a comment for approval. I got to approve it. And like, 39 minutes. I didn't start teaching until 39 minutes in. I really should have a Starbucks endorsement because I am totally advertising for them. Am I not? Okay, touch my nose. So everybody take a drink. Make sure you have maybe 1 or 2 libations handy. Okay, so I wrote up there G major and G Dorian. So you can see right up here I wrote it. Okay. In fact, I wonder, should I make that bold? It might be a little easier to see if I made it bold. Where's that? Does it have that option? Regular. Oh. Sure. Okay. I guess that's better. I don't know. A little better. Holly enjoys the chatty bits. Becker's got to go. Have a great day. You too, Becker. Have a great day. Have fun teaching or whatever you're doing today. Hopefully you can get outside and get some fresh air. I know it's cold, but not here. It's going to be 84 today, I think. What is it going to be today? I'm not rubbing it in. I'm just curious. I don't know. 81. So it's going to be really cold. But we got wind and we got rain coming. Yay, I hope. It keeps changing it, of course. It was every day and now it's every other day. I'm like, oh man, I so want to turn off my sprinklers. It's like one of the big bills here in Southern California is the water bill. like having grass. I know it's not environmentally friendly, but I lived in an apartment building with concrete everywhere for 32 years, so I want to have grass for a few years anyway. Okay. Oh, Dan's in the house. Hey, Dan. Good to see you. So, so the G major scale is G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G, right? Do, re, mi. And so the difference between a G major and a G Dorian. G Dorian's relative major, and this was asked of me by, who was asking me this? It was, I think it was John Y. In Louisville was asking, why don't you think you're in the key of F or whatever? I like to relate everything. Oh, he was asking about why don't I put the songs in like the different keys so I don't have to use so many accidentals. So we talked about that before. If I can find the songs. We talked about that before. I like to see everything as it relates to the home key. And the home key is G. So those accidentals represent, like flipping off a parents was a perfect example of that. Those accidentals represent the change that's happening between G major and, in this case, G mixolydian. I probably won't do that with this song for this week. It'll be purely G Dorian. I won't go back and forth between G major and G Dorian because there's more change there, and I really want us to spend more time in G Dorian than reaffirming G major. So I will make the song pretty much stick to that. I might add the blue note in there, or I might go up to the major third. I don't know if I'll do that or not. Oh, Ypsilanti. I know Ypsilanti, Michigan. Have I been to Ypsilanti? Where is Ypsilanti? Is that? It's Lower Peninsula, right? Is that up by Petoskey? Or let's see, is that near Mackinac? See, I know the pronunciation of. I bet it's really beautiful up there, though. I'm getting there. Oh, it's over by Detroit. That's right. You mentioned this. That's right. It just sounds like someplace that's further north. So let me ask you this, Sam. Oh, you're at Eastern Michigan University. Is that where you're at? Or that's where it's known for? Do you have a because a lot of people that live near Detroit have a cabin somewhere, like up north, like to get a getaway place. Kind of like here in LA, a lot of people have cabins up in Big Bear and Arrowhead and places like that. So in Michigan, a lot of people, like on our lake that we had a cabin at, we had a lot of people from Flint and Detroit and Grand Rapids. Nobody lived up there year round. It was all just summer cabins. Oh, you went there. Okay. All right. So so G Dorian, you can see the difference between G Dorian. They both have A's, they both have C's, D's, and E's. But the F sharp becomes an F natural, and the B becomes a B flat in the G Dorian. So it's going to definitely skew to the minor sound. A Dorian is a minor scale, and so it's definitely skewing towards that blues sound, which I kind of think part of the origin of the term bluegrass is because blues scales are oh no, Kalkaska I've never heard of. Okay, that's interesting. I've never heard of Kalkaska. That's a new place. Now I have to look that up. Tom Googling. You guys are all watching me Google. And so it's definitely going to kind of have an out of tune sound, but at the same time, it's just, I'm going to play some more. I was jamming on it when I jumped on, but I don't know how many of you were here then. So let me just show you. It's actually really kind of it's a fun scale to play for the most part. The only thing is it's really hard not to hit that open B string. I mean, it sounds very bluegrassy. It's definitely got a kind of, like I said, a kind of a bluesier sound, kind of a sadder sound. It kind of reminds me of what's that song? The sorrow song from Oh Brother Where Art Thou? Shoot, what's the word? The main song that they play several times in the movie. It kind of reminds me, like, if you were to jam over that, you might use this scale. And again, it's hard to use one scale over this progression because there's times where I want to go to pure G major. There's times I want to go to G minor pentatonic, or I want to go to G mixolydian. So these are all just tools. And we remember last week we put together that sheet that has 6 of the tools in the over the G chord. Okay, yeah, yeah, exactly, Sam. I'll have to look it up. So it's called Kalkaska. Let me pull that up just because I'm just curious where it is. But Traverse City, I know exactly where Traverse City is. But Traverse City's more on the eastern side of the state, and I never went up to the eastern side of the state, I think, right? Isn't Traverse City up there? Bay City is up there. Let's see. Where's Traverse City? Oh, no. Okay, Traverse City's over on where we were. So we were near Cadillac. The lake that we had a house on was Cadillac, was on Lake Misaki in Lake City, Michigan. So you've probably never been anywhere. You haven't been to Lake City, Michigan. But that wasn't too far from Cadillac. In fact, I think my mom may have been born in Cadillac or something like that because they didn't have a hospital in Lake City. Yeah, it's western. It's up there. Yeah, I see it. Yeah, Traverse City. Yeah, for some reason I was thinking. And we had friends that would go to Leland, which was really nice. Oh, there's Kalkaska. Okay, I see it right there. Yep. Wow, that is a little area. But it looks like it's bigger than Lake City, though. And it doesn't look like it's really on a lake. It's weird. It's just a city. It must be like a logging area or something. Fat Boys Barbecue. Oh, that looks good. I love Michigan. Michigan is such a great state. And most people don't go there. I mean, people have been to Detroit, but that's about it. The reason is you don't drive through it. Like India, everybody's been through Indiana and hates it. That's where I grew up. Everybody's driven through Indianapolis and went, oh my gosh, what a horrible place. It's so flat and it's just a straight line. Everything, it's just this, because when you're driving east to west in the country, oftentimes it takes you through Indiana. But Michigan's surrounded by water, so you're not gonna just naturally go there. Oh, the river run was between Cadillac and Manistee. Oh, very cool. That you would do on the river. You wouldn't actually literally run on your feet. Yeah, because that would be a marathon. But that's got to be more than 26 miles. Yeah, I should try to find the rollaways. I wonder if it even is called that. It was kind of a local term. It wasn't anything. I don't think it was literally called the rollaways, but it'd be cool to find some pictures of that. That would be awesome. So and then in the last 20 years or so, we were going to Pentwater, Michigan, like from 99 to 2017. My mom was renting a house there. So you stayed on Lake Manistee, yeah. Oh, very cool. I'm going to check that. I'm going to dig into that a little bit deeper when I get a chance. I would love to go back to Michigan. I think it would be fun. If the lockdowns continue too much longer, although Michigan is not unlocked, but and we can't travel to Europe easily, we may have to start doing more stuff in the U.S., which is fine. I mean, there's so much in Europe I want to see, so if I can. Okay. So again, the scale is going to be a little bit. This is technically a minor scale. In the modes there were 3 major scales and 3 minor scales, and then there was Locrian. And so the G Dorian scale will start on G. I mean, we can play the E and the F, but let's just start on G here and go 3rd fret and then open 1st 3rd. G, A, B flat, C, and then open D, 2nd fret, 3rd fret, open G, 2nd fret, 3rd fret, 1st fret, 3rd fret, open, let's see, open, and then 1st fret and 3rd fret. Okay, and backwards is 3 1 0, 3 1, 3 1 0, 3 2 0, 3 2 0 again, and that's the snippet that's really fun. Really fun to play. I want to go back to Michigan. I bet it was it written by like Bob Seger or something like that. And then, oh, Gary, hey, good to see you. Good morning, Gary. Constant Sorrow, thank you. Man of Constant Sorrow. Thank you, Pepper. And then 1 and 0 and then 3. I love that movie. I mean, I love Coen Brother movies. You have a favorite Coen Brother movie? So that's the scale. Let's play it again. G. I'm gonna tell you the note names this time. G, A, B flat, C, D, E, F, G, A, B flat. My brain stopped. C, D, E, F, and G. Backwards. G. Yeah, your spelling was way off, Aslan. G, F, E, and then just on 2 notes on the B string, D, and C. The B is the major, so the B is not a bad note to hit, because that would be a bit of a like what we might call a hybrid scale or something like that. The other thing, I'll show you that too. We're gonna do. I should have done a diagram for it. I could do an. I can sit here on my laptop and do one real quick, but I can show you a note that we can use, add to it. But then B flat. I'm on the 3rd string, 3rd fret, and then A, and then G, and then 3rd fret is F, 2nd fret is E, open D, and then 3rd fret is C, B flat is the 1st fret, open A, and then the bottom is G. Now, just some things to notice. Over the G chord, you know, you're playing. You got that flat third, and so you've also you've got the kind of the blues. I mean, sorry, the minor pentatonic, and you've also got the minor 6 pentatonic within that scale, because we're talking about a 7-note scale. So it's kind of, in fact, we talked about this before when we did this lesson. If I were to, let's see, I think it was this lesson here. No, that one. If I were to merge all of these notes together, I think somebody pointed it out. It sounds like something John would have done. I don't see John on today, but hey, Jan, good to see you. Good Navan. And Bruce, we're always allowed to speak foreign language as long as it's something like good morning. And we can always learn a little bit. If you come in and start like Russian or Chinese or whatever, we can't read it. It's like, that doesn't do me any good. And I have to copy and paste in the translator, only to find out that 1914 by Irving Berlin. Oh, I want to go back to Michigan. Oh, that sounds about right. Irving Berlin is interesting. Actually, Irving Berlin. Hoagie Carmichael wrote. He was from Indiana, so he wrote back. Didn't he write Back Home Again in Indiana? I think. But if we were to combine, in fact, we'll just look on the middle 2 strings on this, the G minor pentatonic, open, 3rd fret, open, 3rd fret, up there, the top one, okay? Right? And then the second one is open, 2nd, open, 3rd. Okay? And the bottom one, the D minor, is open, 3rd, open, 3rd. No Country. Yeah, that's a great one. Big Lebowski's great too. I've seen both of those probably 3 times. Fargo, I saw twice. That's a hard movie to watch. It's really tough. I'll tell you what, probably my favorite Woody Allen movie is Crimes and Misdemeanors. I don't know if you've ever seen that one, but it's chilling in some ways. I mean, it's really, really kind of crazy. Oh, Holly's good. I'm glad you're playing, Holly. You know, you should get some kind of like bot that chats for you, just says random stuff. So you don't have to, save you time. Okay, so if I add all 3 of those snippets together, I get 0, 2, 3, 0, 2, 3. We mentioned this before, so if I add up all 3 of these scales, because remember the difference between the G minor pen and the G minor 6 pentatonic was we took the F to E. So let's add the E to that scale up there, and then we have, and then on the difference between G minor pen and the D minor pen was that we took the B flat down to A. So let's add the A to the first scale. And if we add the A and the E to the first scale, we end up with this. We end up with the Dorian. So that's kind of why it works. You can find a lot of useful notes in there. So over the G, you know, all these notes work. Even the A works fine, especially if it's on the way to something. But I want to go to that B note so bad. I mean, there's lots of little fun things in there. Over the C chord, same thing. We've got the E note, so that's already great. And we just play the G Dorian scale, starting on the C note over the C chord. That's a C mixolydian scale, which implies a C7 chord, which when we're doing the bluegrass, you can always play all 7th chords if you want. Like I could take that progression right here, and I could just play it with all 7th chords. It's going to definitely skew more bluesy. And now you're going to have trouble playing actually G major. That F sharp's not going to sound very good over a G7 chord. Just have to trust me on that. But that's our jam track with all 7th chords. Now, it's very, very common to make the 5 chord a 7th chord because naturally that's in any major key. The 5 chord is the only chord that is actually a dominant 7th chord. So if you went, that one actually is in the key of G, along with the G and the C chord. What I would do is I would maybe play C7 or G7, but I would save them. I would save them for when I'm if I'm jamming behind someone, if I'm a little bored. I've seen it happen in jam situations where you've got guitar players jamming or whatever, they're playing a song or in front of an audience or just in a jam thing, and they're playing some progression like this. One of the guitar players, the strumming guy goes to the C7 chord, and everybody kind of lights up and they're like, "Oh, we're going there, are we?" And they're like, they immediately go to that B flat, and so it's kind of one of those things. The 7th chord, even though it's it skews it more blues, and it also is out of the key. That C7 chord, the 4 chord with a dominant 7th, can definitely create a flavor and a mood and take things in another direction, and it's fun. And that's what music is so freaking amazing, with 1 chord. And I tell you, I've been doing, so I got one of those cassette. It didn't work very well as a cassette to MP3 in itself because it had a little slot where you could plug in a what is it called, a thumb drive, and for some reason, it's the software on it was PC, and I'm using Macs, and I would take the thumb drive out, plug it into my computer, I would listen to the tracks, and there would be like I'm actually listening to it in the headphones on the cassette deck as it's transferring. So I'm listening to these old songs from the I think I have stuff that's from the 70s. I'm listening to them, and then when I play it back from the MP3, it literally skips, like it skips the record. And it's not like there's a gap. I didn't hear it. It literally rendered the MP3 with like not gaps, but just skips. So it would just jump ahead and like, oh man, right in the middle of a guitar solo or something like that. Well, that's no fun. So I'm actually using, Adam's Family. No, CC, you can play with your fingers. Bluegrass players almost always use a pick though. Fingerstyle, no, they use their fingers, If I'm doing jazz. I'll use my fingers, but if I'm going to solo in jazz, I'll probably. I'll probably grab the pick. If I'm strumming, there are people that strum with their fingers. Flamenco players play with their fingers. Holly likes it when I do flamenco. So yeah, no, you can totally use your fingers. I like using a pick. And for bluegrass, it's almost necessity because of the speed, and you've got to cut through. You're playing along with a mandolin that's a very high instrument, but very loud instrument. And then you're playing with banjo players, a very loud instrument. So usually in bluegrass, in fact, I get that comment every now and then, there's no drums in bluegrass, and that's true. You don't really ever see drums, and I put a brush thing on my jam track. So it's more just to keep track of time. I should have muted it when I bounced it. Maybe if I do future ones, I'll do that. Maybe add a mandolin or something so there's other instruments playing. But so CC, where are you located? Yeah, and thumb is totally good. Some people use a thumb pick, so because a lot of people have trouble holding on to a pick. My tip for that is for holding on to the pick is that you just walk around with a pick all day, or buy expensive picks, and you probably won't lose them. The stupid blue chip pick is like $40. It's supposed to sound like a tortoiseshell, but like that never wears out. Yeah, but for bluegrass, it's a little bit on the tough side, but you can totally play everything with your thumb if you want. But the reason you play with your thumb is because you kept dropping picks or whatever, or you just couldn't get a good grip on it. I would just get a pick and walk around with it all day long. Drink your coffee. I almost said drive your car, but I'm not going to do that because I don't want you to get in a car accident and go, well, Tom, it was because Tom told me I had to carry a pick everywhere. Oh, no worries, CC. You don't need to answer that. Unless the answer is right behind me. that I kind of want to know. But when we played C to C in G Dorian, we get C mixolydian, which really implies that C7 chord. Yeah, exactly. Well, they do have sticky picks. They do have picks that have rough edges. Well, like the edges pick. Speaking of edge, it has these, like, it's supposed to be for grip, but actually he actually scrapes the string with that. You know, that's how he gets that weird sound that he gets. So. So what, that was always my recommendation for people. That's what I had to do because I kept dropping picks. So I remember when I was a kid, I read a biography on Vince Lombardi, and he was coaching the Redskins his last year of life. And Larry Brown, who was one of my favorite running backs as a kid, he had a fumble problem, and so Vince Lombardi made him carry a football around with him in the shower, to breakfast, to lunch, everywhere he went, to bed. So he had to carry a football with him everywhere, and he stopped having a fumble problem. It's simple, not so simple, I guess, to have to haul a football around everywhere. Hey, is that fiat or flat potato? And autoplay brought you so high. Well, that's awesome. Thank you, Flat, and thank you, YouTube, for doing that. Let me see. I haven't even looked to see how many people we have. Oh, we got 40 people. That's not bad. We're kind of climbing here. It's a slow burn. Here, I can do a screenshot of this so you guys can see this. Hold on a second. You see what I see. Because I don't know if you guys find it as interesting as I do, but I'm always interested in how this stuff works, and I have no idea how YouTube directs people. But I just took this screenshot right now, so you can see that's why I talk in the first 15 minutes or so, because I want people to kind of get on board before I start teaching, because I don't want people to go, oh, I missed the lesson, and then they show up here. But sometimes this is unusual to have this kind of slow growth like this. Usually we get up to a certain peak, and then we drop down a little bit here and there. But that's a screenshot right from just now. So inside baseball stuff, but I think it's kind of cool. So what we've been doing, Flat Potatoes, this is lesson 164. When COVID started, when in Los Angeles, when we had lockdowns here in California, it was like March 13th, I think, or 15th. Just 15 days to flatten the curve, is what they said. It's like, well, that pretty much went out the window. So I started doing daily live streams, and because my YouTube revenue started dropping, and it was like, oh man, this is like a bad time for that to go down. So my wife said, why don't you do it, like the same time every week so people can count on it? I said, I'll do better than that. I'll do the same time every day. So at 11 o'clock every day for 62 days in a row, I started teaching just stuff I wanted to teach. I didn't know it was going to go that long. I had no idea. I had no idea it was going to go this long. And so, gosh, it's been 5-6 weeks. Now we're Bluegrass 7. So this is the 7th week of Bluegrass stuff. So what I've been doing is every week I'm showing you a new scale or a set of scales in open position that work over this very simple bluegrass progression right here. Okay? And so we've had, and if you're new to the channel, Cece's new also. Here's the first, this is the first week, and this goes lesson, I'm not sure what the lesson number is this. I could probably figure it out, but we spent 3 lessons, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, on this scale here. The G major scale, and then we went to the G major pentatonic, C major pentatonic, and D major pentatonic. We spent another 3 lessons, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, on that, and then I added a blues note to those same scales, and then we spent another 3 lessons on that, and then we did the G mixolydian scale. And every week I've been writing a new song, so I have to write one of my jobs for Wednesday. This is a job. One of my jobs for Wednesday is to write a new song. And so if you go to our Discord link, and I tagged it, or I pinned it, so you should see that. But if you go to the Discord, you can download all of these diagrams, okay? And you can oh, did I upload that, by the way, to the Discord? So if you go to Tom's lesson PDFs, yeah, 6 scales. I did upload the six scales PDF. So the first 6 weeks of G scales I do have up there. But so I've been writing a song, and it's in tab. So if you can't read music, which is fine, I like to do both. I read music, but I try to make sure the tab is correct. So so every week we have a song that we can work on. I kind of dissect the composition of that. We did G minor, we did minor pentatonics, and then we did blues pentatonics, and now we're lesson 7. We're doing the G dorian. So that's kind of what's been happening. Yeah. Oh, did I say? Are we 60? Oh, thanks, Easy. Am I wrong on my lesson count here? Did I mess up? Channel analytics. Let me go to my content. I may have messed up. That's no shock. Live 63. No, I think yeah, this is 64. Yeah, 164. I did 62 days in a row though. I had to finally, and then it was still at 11, but then I moved it to 9 mainly because I was finding that I wasn't getting a lot of work done before I started, because I knew, I got to do live stream. Okay, I better not get too involved or whatever. And then after the live stream, after 2 hours of me chit-chatting, filling all this airtime. And originally it was only going to be half an hour, but that literally lasted 1 week, 1 day. I think the first lesson was 39 minutes, and then after that it just kept going up. Yeah, no, Easy retracted his message, and then everybody's commenting on the message, but it's gone. So yeah. So tomorrow or Wednesday will be 65. So 165, I should have a song. Now, did we come up with a name? Because the naming instrumentals is always one of my pet peeves, and I have to do it all the time because I write a lot of music for TV that's just instrumental. So we've got Flipping Off the Parents, which is a reference to the fact that you're kind of changing the major scale to make it kind of weird. BLUEGRASS, because we use the blues scales. There's no reason really for Inigo Montoya from Rancho Cucamonga, except it's just funny to say. Pent Up was about pentatonics. Wait a minute, I'm missing one. Uncle Jan's Real. Don't we? Isn't there another one? What's the other one? No. Oh, Sad Dad Bachelor Pad. Where's Sad Dad Bachelor Pad? Hold on. I gotta find Sad Dad Bachelor Pad. So what's the name for this one? Oh no, you didn't miss anything, Aslan. Let's see. How does it work in Discord? Basically, Discord is just a kind of a group. Dennis isn't here. He's the one that could really describe what Discord is. But it's just kind of another social thing. And oftentimes everybody here in Discord will, everybody that's on the live chat here with the YouTube, they will show up in Discord and continue the dialogue after, and if people have questions, and it's all guitar related, we don't get weird, we don't talk politics or religion or anything like that. It's just about, basically you just talk about me. That's all. Okay, where is the... I am not seeing Sad Dad Bachelor Pad. That's so weird. Well, I can print it up again. That's not a problem. I just don't know where it is. Bum, bum, bum. There it is. I see it. I think. Yay! It slid off. Pants confirmed. I'm wearing pants. So this was last week. Sad Dad Bachelor Pad. So did we have a name for this week's Star Spangled Banner Fingerpick? Oh yeah, Star Spangled Banner? No, I'm thinking Stars and Stripes Forever. I transcribed it a million years ago. I couldn't play it because it's been so long, but and I don't think I ever could play it at the speed of Chet Atkins. But Chet Atkins did a great finger-style version of Stars and Stripes Forever. I'm sure he did. Yeah, I ordered some of those. What was it? What was the one? Lately, with electric guitar, I've been using gravity picks. I like them because they're slightly bigger than what I've been using for years, the Dunlop Tortex, the turtle ones, the purples, 1.5. These are also 1.5. A little bit bigger. You know how with old people they get like utensils in the kitchen that have bigger handles? I think that's what it is. I think the older I get, the bigger pick I want. Plus, I order these with a kind of a rough edge around them, so that I can kind of get that kind of like it's halfway between the U2 pick, the edge pick, and this pick, so I can get a kind of a scratchy sound in my playing. So, oh, the McNugget number. Yeah. McNugget number, um, it may be the possible title for this week's song. I'll have to think about it. Oh, when do I end? Uh, I usually go 2 hours. I don't have a structured end time. Sometimes I have to end early because I've got a lot of work to do. Today I don't have as much work to do as I just have things I want to start working on. And I have to come up with a song with a deep G dorian, so I don't even have an idea at this point. So I have that to do, and then I can always be writing music. So, and you know, I'm not even checking my emails, but I just want to make sure that I'm not. Oh, I've got to send out some emails, but for the most part. Oh, I'm glad, Cece. I'm glad you like this. So, let's see. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to play this jam track a little bit, and I'm going to play along using the scale so you can kind of hear. So, G, C, Oh, I went to the B note. It's really hard to avoid the B note, but I'm trying to stick pretty purely to that scale. Hopefully you can kind of hear it. Yeah, and I leave all the streams up, so if anyone's wanting to go back and watch all of this, any of the streams, I totally. It's amazing. I still get spins on those first ones. So, and like I said, I think Dash is going through them all right now. He's just watching every one of them in order, which I don't know. I think it would be a little frustrating if you were not used to being able to chat live, because you can't do that. Okay, so let me show you another note that we can add to this, or I could add to it. I'm trying to decide if I want to get my laptop out and like redo this. But basically, we can add the D nat or the D flat in there, so it'd be the flat 5. Okay, so if we did it, it would be here. This note, 2nd fret on the 2nd string. It gives you a fun little option. So yeah, let me do that. I'll go ahead and it won't take me but a second to do this. And the I can add the blues note too, also on the 4th fret of the 5th string. So you could have a okay. open up. Where are you? So basically what we're going to do is we're going to add a, let's see. We're going to add a D flat to every one of these. Super duper easy here. Here. And then what that does is it gives you even more kind of more of a bluesy thing. Okay, so let me just do this. Okay. Oh, wait. Taking longer than I thought. I'm trying to add some text in here, so just hang with me. So exciting, isn't it? I'm solving a murder. This is, you're watching an episode of CSI. I love it in detective shows where they, lately, you know, you see people on computers. It's like we're literally sitting in front of our TV watching people on their computers. Oh, let's see, I want that to be different size. Again, I did this totally kind of backwards. All right. Now, screenshot. Boom. Now, see, I couldn't get this to work. Okay, so G Dorian. I couldn't get this to work earlier for some reason. Open blues. It was not allowing me to do the airdrop thing. So we'll see if it shows up. Yeah, there it did. Okay, that's good. All right. Thanks for your patience. So now we're gonna have, hopefully I did it right. I'm gonna insert it and it's gonna be like, dang it. So yeah, I should probably try to create these things on this, but you know, the nice thing about yeah, here it is. I gotta move it to this folder though. Otherwise it won't find it. The nice thing about, there we go. There it be. Doing it on my laptop is I can kind of sit in my comfortable chair there in the corner and do my work before sitting here, and you know, because I sit in this chair enough, and ergonomically I like to change things up as much as I can. I don't have a standing desk. I should probably, because the desk I got from IKEA actually has a kit that you can put on it that will make it one of those motorized standing desks, which would be really cool. So okay, hey Mush Alien, hello from Bay St. Louis, Mississippi. I have a feeling I know where that is. John Jeffries, how's it going? Frank, everybody's starting to show up now. We got 47 on board. Richard Lawson, good to see you. I'm another Tom. Oh, you're another Tom. Okay. Ah, Paul, you finally made it. Well, we just learned a new scale for the week, the G Dorian, which somebody, I think, like I said, I think it was John in Louisville that pointed out that if we combined the G minor pentatonic, the G minor 6 pentatonic, and the D minor pentatonic, we combine those, all the notes in those, and added them all up, you would end up with G major or G Dorian. So versus G major, here's what G major sounds like. G Dorian. And so it has definitely a minor and a bluesy sound to it because you're superimposing a minor scale on top of a major chord progression, happy chord progression. And so it creates this cognitive dissonance that everybody's completely used to and hears as the blues or bluegrass, because there's a lot of blues and bluegrass. It's very, very common. So what I did was I added the blues note to the scale. It looks like a mess, but it's really not. It's basically what we're giving ourselves a license to play is the, you know. What am I doing? Oh, that's what I was missing. Yeah, that's what I was missing. I was like, why can't I get that lick to match up? How many scales are there in total? I don't know. You could probably invent 5 today that have never been done before if you do it. You know, I mean, now you're talking about combinatorics, and if you take, and that's in diatonic in Western music, you have 12 notes, and you could technically a scale could technically be 2 notes. I wouldn't call G to G a scale, but you could go G, A flat. That could be a scale. You know, technically, it'd be a really boring song. So you could maybe eliminate any scales less than 5 notes. So a minimum scale note count would be 5, but you could include in chromatic scale, which would be all 12. So literally millions, if not billions, of possible scales. And oftentimes you can create a scale, like I could create a scale that's like G, A flat, B, I'm sorry, G, A flat, A, B flat, B. Technically that's a scale. It's kind of weird, but I could, you know, create harmony that would work on that. It would be kind of weird. But you know, you could probably come up with some weird harmonies that would work in that scale. So, and yeah, that's not a fun scale. That's actually a good exercise. It's actually a pretty good exercise. Oh, you know, an exercise that I forgot about. I should do a video on. It's the let's see. No. Shoot. So I'm just going down octaves. Oops. I should do it. Basically going from E to G to G sharp. Alternate. And it really forces you to kind of mix up your strings and fingers. It's kind of a good exercise. I should try to do a video. I'm looking, you know, I'm starting to do more video. Hey, did any of you see my bass video? Did you like that one? I saw Holly saw it. Holly's like, I gotta get a bass now. I know. That was a common comment there, I think, if you saw. You can basically create your own scales. Then it's up to you to get them to work musically. Composers have done this for years, especially contemporary composers. And there's also things called 12-tone row, which is, if you look up 12-tone row, I think it's ROW. 12-tone row. It was kind of a mathematical way to come up with melodies and stuff like that. So, yeah, but it's up for you. And so any scale you create is going to have some harmonizations in there. You're going to, you know, because remember when we harmonize a scale, you know, we take a G scale, and we take the root and the third, and we harmonize all the way up to scale. And then we take, you know, the third. We're going to take that third up an octave. And so there's going to be all these harmonies. But if we were to do that kind of same thing with some like weird, that was our scale, you know, it would be very strange. Like it would be, no, that wouldn't actually be part of it. You know, and in a classical context, you might be able to justify it. So, Dorian scale, yeah. Michael, where's your question? Oh, where was? Oh, G Dorian blues is 8 notes. No, you can leave the natural D in there. Yeah. Yeah, you can totally play. You can G Dorian plus blues note. The blues note is that. I should have made that note blue, right? Dang it. Afterthoughts. Why didn't somebody stop me? All the string things. Yeah, mandolin's a lot of fun. Banjo's a lot of fun. Yeah, because that D natural is a nice. It's the 5th of the G chord and it's the root of the D chord. So you're not going to want to get rid of that. Yeah, so you can still have both, and it is an 8-note scale. Like I said, I can justify every single note. I could justify chromatically every single note in over this chord progression. The one that's toughest for me is the E flat, but if I'm going over the C, if I'm doing something like that, then I'm technically hitting E flat. So even E flat I can justify. All right. If I want to go kind of use it as a grace note. I didn't like sitting on the E flat. I didn't think it sounded very good over the C chord. But yeah, you could play a 12-note scale over. If I add up all of the scales that we've done in the last 7 weeks, would we get to chromatic? Well, we would if we included the C minor. Well, no, we did. C major blues. We have an E flat there. So I think through all of these scales, we've probably played every single note. Because remember, in D major blues, we had let's see. Oh no, D minor blues, we had right here, we had the A flat, which is the G sharp. So we had I think we've justified literally every single note. And that to me just harkens to jazz. You know, in jazz, it's kind of like, you know, over an A7 chord, you can justify. You can justify almost any note. You know, over an A7 chord, that major 7th is a little. But if you use it kind of in that context, and as a passing tone or a neighboring tone, it works. I mean, I always think of like Django Reinhardt. You know, he would do a lot of things that were like neighboring tones, whereas like he's playing a D minor, but he's going around one of the root notes, so he's just justified a note a half step above the 5th and a note half step below the 5th. You can go up, and of course he was only playing with 2 fingers, so you can always try to imagine how he would have fingered something when you try to play. I have a book actually that transcribes a bunch of his solos, and the book is pretty thick. It's funny because it's really the same book twice, and the first book is fingered how a 4-fingered person would finger these phrases, you know, whatever they are, you know, maybe. And then how a 2-fingered person, you know, how Django might have fingered it. And some of the licks, it's funny because some of the licks, 4 fingers is too many fingers, they get in the way. It you know, kind of makes sense. But anyway, hopefully, Michael, I answered your question. I see a lot of comments here. We got, thanks, Bruce. Bruce is totally taking care of all the newbies here. Hey, Nicola, have you been here before? That looks familiar. Nicola sounds familiar. Oh, cool. Mandolin Cafe Restaurant or website. So to buy a mandolin, I need to get a better mandolin. But the problem is, it's kind of like, I hate to spend $2,000 or $1,000 on a mediocre mandolin. My mandolin costs $300, and it totally works fine for everything I use it for, because I'm not doing bluegrass on it. I'm mostly just doing movie soundtracks and game soundtracks. Yeah, you're gonna get a ukulele, Michael, in the future? Ukulele is a great instrument to play if you're really struggling with a guitar, or it's a kind of a good intro, especially for a little kid. If you get them a ukulele, I think it's probably I think George Benson started on a ukulele, so there you go. And there's an endorsement right there. I touched my face. Let's take a sip. I haven't used air quotes yet, though. Have I? Have I used air quotes today? Yeah, I have like 6 ukes. I should do a video. I need to do the videos, why so many ukuleles. I need to do a video, why so many banjos. And I need to do a video, why so many basses. So let me write those down so I don't forget those. But kind of makes sense. I even said in my video that I posted Saturday that I was going to do a video on why so many basses. So that may actually be my next video. Not that so I've done this one now. That's done. I've done why so many basses, ukes, banjos. The banjo thing was almost more of an accident. I got a banjo initially because I thought I wanted to play banjo, right? And then, and I thought I could use it for session work and for writing, and I have a lot, 5-string. And then I needed to I had one composer particularly wanted me to do some pretty complex reading on the banjo. And I just wasn't comfortable playing the banjo, so I got a 6-string banjo, which is basically tuned like a guitar, but has a banjo head. Taiwan! And then I got, Beth and I were on a trip, and I didn't have a tenor banjo, and I found this 1920 Gibson 4-string banjo that I bought, and then I got a banjolele, which is a ukulele banjo, so it's technically not a banjo, but I'm just always looking for weird sounds, and it's kind of a weird sound, so. So let's play this G Dorian. We're gonna start on the G Dorian with the blues note. We're gonna start with the 3rd finger here, okay, and we're gonna go open A, 1st fret, 3rd fret, pinky. There's our blues note. Open D. Sorry, Holly, got a pinky there. 2nd fret E, 3rd fret F, open G, 2nd fret A, 3rd fret B flat, and we have a C, then the D flat, 2nd fret, and then 3rd fret is D, and then open E, and then 1st fret is F, and then G on top. And then backwards, G, F, E, and then D, D flat, C. So 3, 2, 1. And then even that, which we already did in the, in the, what was that, Sad Dad Bachelor Pad? Is that the one that has the, I think so. I think that was last week, right? That was the blues scale? Yes. So that basically is a blues scale right there. But with the Dorian and the blues, plus the blues, we have that A note in there. You don't have to play it. You can still do this. That's still just as much a Dorian with a blues scale, a blues Dorian, as the blues scale. You don't have to play every note in the scale. Yeah, I need to take my crappy mandolin with me to go mandolin shopping. And if I could find, a $1,000 mandolin that sounded much better than mine and played better than mine in tune, that's the main thing. The low string, the bottom fret, the 2 frets, it's really hard to play those 2 notes in tune on a mandolin. That would be a huge plus for me. But you know, a good Martin or a good Gibson mandolin's like $5,000 or something like that, just for a new one, you know, let alone a vintage one. So, although I don't know if I like the F style, which is the really fancy ones. Mine's a very, you know, pear-shaped one. I'm fine with the pear-shaped one. I think they're a little bit more open sounding and a little less bluegrass sounding, which is good for me. But so, the model I own is just a Fender. Fender mandolin. Like I said, I think I paid $300 for it. Okay, so did we get all? We didn't descend all the way down. Let's start again on top G note here, and then yeah, I'll go down one, and then I'll go back up. Flat potato. So descending is 3 1 0. Okay, on the first string. Then 3 2 1 on the second string, and then 3 2 0 on the third string, and then 3 2 0. Okay, on the fourth string, and then we're gonna go 4 3 1 0. So that one is fourth finger on the fourth fret of the fifth string, third finger on the third fret of the fifth string, first finger on the first fret of the fifth string, and an open, and then G. And if you want, these two notes are also good, F and E. But it's pretty low. I mean, I don't spend a lot of time playing soloing down here on the bottom string just because it doesn't cut through very well. You get up here. Yeah, exactly, Sam. I do feel like the F is a little bit, the F style mandolin is a little bit smaller sounding, but that's also more bluegrassy. It has that more kind of brighter sound that a bluegrass has. The fuller, the open, I feel like the what is that, the ace shape? What's the name of that shape? I forget. Okay, so potato, I'm going to go, flat potato, I'm going to go again from the bottom up on the G Dorian plus the blues note. Okay, so here, third fret, G, and then we're going to go from there up to the A string, and we're going to hit open 1 3 4. Okay, that's the weirdest string of all of these. And then you go to the open D string. Okay, and then open 2 3, open 2 3, and then 1 2 3, open 1 3, and then backwards 3 1 0, 3 2 1, 3 2 0, again 3 2 0, and then 4 3 1 0, and 3 down there. And try if you can, and both scales. It's really hard not to hit that B string for me, that open B string, descending on the G Dorian. And I know you like it when things are hard for me. But try to keep your picking alternating if you can. So even if you have to go very, 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 very slow. A shape, yeah, A form. Oh, A shape, yeah, exactly. Down, up, 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 down. So that's kind of one of the things I'm trying to learn in this, because remember, this whole series started because I was like, what do you guys want to learn? And then you guys said, hey, what do you want to learn? I'm like, that's a great idea. Let's learn something together. And so I've already been playing bluegrass and I know all these scales and everything, but I'm just kind of trying to, I say this all the time. I always learn a lot when I'm teaching. And so Um, that's why I think if you've got any guitar chops at all, you know, if you've got grandkids or kids or you know, friends or whatever, you know, you can always start teaching how to play. If you're you know, if people go, hey, you're pretty good, you know, like, hey, yeah, I am. You don't need a charge. You know, you can just show people how to play some things. Hey, if you want to get together and jam, I'm happy to show you how to play a little bit of guitar. Um, and you'll find that in that process, you'll learn the instrument deeper than you thought you would. That's true of anything, obviously. It's something about trying to take something that was once complicated for you, but now you understand, and making it simple for someone else. And I'll tell you, Becker's not here. I think I told Becker this, but one thing I used to do back in the day, before I would teach a beginner, like if I had a new student who was coming, never played guitar before, he or she shows up, you know, before they show up at the house, I would take my guitar and I would flip it over and try to play left-handed, which is like literally impossible for me. I am not at all ambidextrous, right? You know, and I'd hold the pick, you know, and I'd try to pick, you know, even just try to like. Anyone tuning in right now is going to be like, why does this guy have 88,000 subscribers? But as soon as I do this, flip the guitar over and try to play it, I remember what it's like to be a beginner on the first day. There's no way I can do this without feeling like I'm a complete moron on the instrument. Almost said some different word. But anyway, there's no way to not. And so what that does is that really gives you what I think is really good for teachers is empathy and sympathy. Not sympathy, empathy more. And, you know, remembering, you know, no one liked the professor that would get up there and just start telling you all the facts and everything like that necessarily. You know, it was like, oh, blah, 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 blah. You know, I am so smart, just write down everything I say. And nobody liked that. Maybe that's the name. Write down everything I say. Maybe is that the name of our new song? Oh, interesting. That's a great idea, Gary. Wow. Yeah, Justin Guitar has he's got a lot of subscribers. But he's made a career out of it. Like I'm trying to, you know, I'm keeping my career going, and this is a side hustle, as they say. I really, you know, mainly because it doesn't pay enough. Although your gifts help. Every gift helps. I love it when you buy me coffee. But one of the things that you know, one of the problems with like music schools is that oftentimes they're populated by somebody who's been in the music business, but they are now teaching full time and have been maybe for 20 years. So they've been out of the business for 20 years. So they're not very relevant. Now, I'm not really going to pick up a lot of new stuff in my work during the week that's going to be relevant to most of my subscribers, because most of my subscribers are beginners. So that makes it, you know, I'm always having to try to really come up with ideas of in the more basic nature. Hey, Joseph, how's it going? Good to see you again. Yeah, if I started left-handed. Yeah, exactly. You're not music, movie, game producers. Exactly. It's all right. No apology necessary. But but when you get to college, oftentimes you would be somebody would be teaching you, but they're really not particularly relevant. You get in the real world, you've not been given anything that you can use today. And so, if I were to completely go full time into YouTube and try to become the next Justin Guitar, I don't think I could connive that. This is all happening, you know, on its own. My growth on my YouTube channel was largely because of one video. So I look at Justin's videos and Holly, stop it. Holly sensed I was fishing for dollars. So Holly, you just bought me coffee. That's 3 coffees right there, 3 and change. So because I know it's only $3 for this. So I'm not. This is not like some kind of fancy. It's just coffee with cream and sweet and low, which you can't get sweet and low on the app anymore. So I have to bring my own sweet. Now they have it there, but for some reason they got rid of it on the app. Bye bye. Thank you, Taiwan. Stay safe. St. Arbucks. Yeah, exactly. I actually wrote a song called, I put a lyric in there and I copyrighted it. I said, I got bucked up. I put a lyric, so that way if they use it in a commercial, I can say, hey, that's my line. Get bucked up. So, but the, yeah, so that was one of the things that when I think, I don't know if I mentioned this specifically in my video about should I go to music school. And that's a tough question. I'm not, I would hate to give someone bad advice in that necessarily. But one of the things that years ago I asked a film producer, what's the most job in Hollywood with the most qualified applicants? And I thought he was going to say actor because there's so many actors in Hollywood. He said, no, it's not even close. It's a film composer. He said that there are so many people that could totally do it, but there's only so many jobs. And I went, yeah, that's crazy. I said, yeah, because there's probably 10,000 kids graduating every year in America with a film composing degree. And they're all trying to, hey, Dash, what's going on? I've been talking about you. Your ears been burning? I'm just telling them how you've been going through all my videos. You've been going back in my videos and then saying, here's where the lesson starts. And I have to approve it, which means I have to admit that I'm too talkative, and I'm going, approved. It's funny because you could go to the University of Cincinnati, probably, I don't know this for a fact, but say University, I'll just make up a college, University of Western Iowa, probably has a music department, and they probably have a film composer or a film scoring or a composition department or something like that. And yeah, I saw that. You're at 74, Dash. Dash is going through them all. And I'm like, well, who's the head of that department? Oh, he's a guy that he went to Michigan and studied with a guy that actually worked in Hollywood. And like, well, the guy in Michigan, what did he do? Oh, he scored a Disney movie, and then he moved back to Michigan and started teaching. It's like, really? It's like, you have one success and then you move on to becoming a teacher or something like that. And I'm not saying that's the norm, but oftentimes you're getting taught by people that never really had any real success in film composing. I mean, you go to USC and it's going to be expensive, and you're going to get taught by people that are actually in the business or that were in the business or currently in the business. I mean, I don't think John Williams teaches there, but and the main reason to go, if you're going to do film composing, I would say the best thing to do is go to find a film composing school that has a really good film department, where there are a lot of directors, because those are the people that are going to hire you. You're going to get all your work from directors. And okay, Dash, God bless you. How great I am. How great. That reminds me of Tommy Walker. Tommy Walker's a worship leader here in Los Angeles. He's also written a lot of worship songs. And he had a friend over. He had a friend over that wasn't a Christian, like a bass player friend, to come over, and they were chatting and stuff like that. And he wasn't at all involved in church music at all. And Tommy was writing a song, and it was called "How Great I Am." It was the name of the song or something. And the bass player was like looking at it, like going, "How great you are! What in the heck is this guy like smoking?" So, but thank you, Dash. I appreciate that. I do appreciate it. I feel like a lot of my growth on my channel is people sharing my channel and sharing my lessons and things like that. So, and I do try to be, interactive here. Obviously, I'm trying to, answer questions and things. Oh, that's crazy. 1 or 2 a day. Dash, don't get fired. But yeah, there's a lot. Yeah, it's a marathon. There are a lot of, I mean, this is one, and they're averaging 2 hours. I've been averaging 2 hours. We're dropping down here a little bit. It's interesting. I can show you again. I'll do another screen cap of the graph of viewers here. Hold on. I did this half an hour ago. No, there we go. So you can see slow climb and then kind of level, and now it's slowly dropping because I put the guitar down. If I pick the guitar back up, it'll probably climb again. Isn't that funny? So what are we? So the McNugget number. I don't know if that would be confusing or not. I mean, which of these song titles isn't confusing, to be honest? And Dennis, did Dennis ever show up? I forget. I can't remember. Yeah, Dennis has been here. I've seen Dennis today. Yeah, Dennis is here. Thank you, Holly, for the money. Don't you have a question? You need to have a question to come up with that money. If you're gonna give me $10, you gotta ask me a question. Dash has a question. I do have a question for ya about strumming, though. I finished the strumming lessons, but feel like when I strum quickly, the pick changes positions in my hand. Oh yeah, you know that's great. I hadn't thought about that. I probably mentioned it at one point, but I tend to use a thinner pick when I strum. So that's we can talk about that. So for years, my main pick was this 1.5 millimeter Dunlop. Okay, there's a link to this. If you want to order some of these, there's a link in the Amazon links below. If you hit any of those Amazon links and go shopping, if you buy groceries or whatever, I get a percentage of it, which is crazy, which is really cool. So, or you can even save the link and go back to it later. If you're going to go to Amazon, just save the link, and then you might as well. I mean, you can set up if you go to the very bottom of any Amazon page, it says become an affiliate. If you want to create an affiliate account, I don't know if you can do it if you don't have a website or something, but you can just do your own shopping there, and that way you get 2% back on everything, or 3 or 4 or 5% back on everything you buy at Amazon. But is there any music that I still can't play? Oh yeah, there's a lot of stuff I can't play. So I don't. You could fill a library with stuff I don't know how to play. Dash, you were asking about strumming. So one of the things I do, I use 3 fingers. So I got thumb and 2 fingers. So it's kind of a tripod grip on the pick. Some people do this thing where they hold it like that, where it's the thumb pushed against it. And sometimes I do that, but my hand, I don't know. So one of the things I do is when I'm soloing, I grip down on the pick, so I'm using very, very little pick, and then and hold it very tight. But when I'm strumming with a thick pick like this, I generally expose a lot of the pick, so I let the pick come out of my hand, so it's not, so you can see how much is exposed, and then I strum. I hold it very loose, so it has that quality of a thin pick. However, you do run the risk of the pick spinning around. But I think with a tripod thing, you can kind of keep it from spinning if you use 3 fingers, 2 fingers and a thumb. Or if you shift to a thinner pick when you're strumming, then you can hold it tighter. That pick is even kind of on the thin side to hold tight. If you hold the pick too tight when you're strumming, like a heavy pick, it'll snag like a fish hook. It'll get caught in the strings. Yeah, so I think if you're holding a pick like this, yeah, it's hard to strum that way. I kind of do this 3-finger thing. I really never talk about it, but that's pretty much, what that's how I hold it. So, and even when I'm doing those licks, I squeeze the pick a little tighter so it doesn't. the big strumming, you know, the big action here, I'm holding the pick pretty loose, even a thin pick. But so, you know, sometimes if you're playing with too heavy a pick to strum, what's going to happen is the pick is going to kind of start to move a little bit because it doesn't move on its own, so it's going to have to move in your hand. Okay, but if you use a really thin pick like this Dunlop, this is a Dunlop 0.6. To me, that's really thin. Like I know guys that can solo with this and solo fast, but I'm not even sure. Yeah, I don't know how you play lead with this so much. It's very difficult for me to do. But strumming, it does make it strumming a little bit easier, you know. But it's kind of more like the thinner the pick, the more it's going to sound like a playing card in the spokes of your bicycle when you were a kid, if you ever did that. I don't know if I did that specifically as a kid, but I know the sound. So, yeah, no worries, Dash. Lee said, I once got told by a guitar player that his dad told him he was cheating because he guitared frets, unlike a cello. Yeah. Well, and I hear the same thing about when I talk about, oh, well, how do you play F chord? I'm like, well, one thing you can do is you can capo. If you're in the key of F and you got an F and a B flat, you can capo the 3rd fret. Play all open chords, and people say that's cheating, and I'm like, it's not cheating. It's using the instrument to your best advantage. First off, secondly, it sounds better. Because I'm not struggling to play F, so I can't do any of that if I'm like. I mean, I don't really struggle to play F. B flat's no fun. But yeah, so that's kind of I get that same kind of comment like, hey, well, that's cheating, you know, when I talk about using the capo, but it's not. And guitar is a different instrument than cello, so it's not cheating. If you were to put frets on a cello, then you could make the argument that you're cheating. Let's see, Tom, on the topic of film composers, how crazy difficult that is. How do you feel about producers, artists, singers, songwriters? Well, I'm technically, I guess, all of those, except I'm not really an artist. Did I? Yeah, I did just play Free Falling. Yeah, that's in the key of it's a 3rd fret, right? I hope. Yeah, it won't. I didn't get close enough that it's going to have a takedown notice. Let's see. Well, there was something else. Bob Dylan's into bluegrass. Does covers. Says you got to do more or less born into it. Billy. Yeah. I don't disagree with that. The bluegrass thing is we're trying to learn it, but and there's some of you that might actually get there faster because you've got a history of listening to it. I feel like that's true with. I'm a kind of a jack of all, master of none, just by nature of my business. It allows me to have a guitar in my hand all day, but my job is I'm doing all. I mean, I played lute yesterday, you know, of all things, and I played bass, you know. I play mandolin and guitar, but I play all different styles and all different instruments. But I do a lot of rock guitar and funk guitar and R&B stuff, and I write with artists and producers, and then I work with a lot of composers and for games and TV shows, and then I write music for TV too. So it's a patchwork quilt of a career out of necessity. In order to, and I think I did a video on. All the different jobs I've had. I think it was part of my, and if you haven't watched my series on what's the business of making music, I think I have, I thought I had, let's see, one on when a PROs collaborate with Sidelining. Real book. What is it? In the right place. Yeah, I somewhere I did a video. I'm pretty sure because I remember creating this like thing. It was like, end title kind of thing. It listed all the jobs I'd had, in like 37 different jobs in the music. Related to music, everything from working at a record store and working at a guitar store to teaching at a guitar store to teaching clinics to playing on records to playing on movies, playing on TV shows, to all that stuff. Um, so I, definitely um, become kind of out of necessity to do that, become a master of a jack of all, master of none. I believe that if I really wanted to be a flamenco guitarist, I would have to pretty much stop doing what I'm doing and move to Spain and study it the rest of my life. And then it might not even be possible. If I had 1,000 lifetimes, I would, and I could choose, I would go, okay, this time I'm going to be a blues player. This time I'm going to be a jazz player. This time I'm going to be a bluegrass player. And that would be the only, I would just stay in one discipline for the most part. I'm sure my personality is such that I would get bored, I think, doing any one style. I certainly was that way in college when I was studying classical guitar. I was like, yeah, I don't think I could be a classical guitarist for the rest of my life. And that would be the only thing. Because I didn't know anybody personally that was successful as a classical guitarist. So that made it really hard for me to go, okay, well, why would I want to do a job where I'm going to have to work in a different job to pay the bills? So, yeah, tell James Taylor's cheating with the capo. Exactly. Yeah, so you've heard that before too, yeah. Yeah, capo is a way of making making more notes available to your fingers, really, a capo in the key that you're being asked to do. Oh, you use the dark purple. Yeah, the really dark purples too. Yeah. And I use, now mandolin, I actually pretty much use my gravity, which is 1 point. But I do have, I forgot about the Wiegand mandolin pick. It's a really cool, you need to check out the Wiegand mandolin pick. Sam, if you haven't played the Wiegand mandolin pick, it actually, I love it. It's got do you see how I think it's perfectly symmetrical. I don't know if you can see that. So it's not it's not a triangle. It's like all three sides are the same shape. There's not a point to it per se. Okay, and when I play mandolin, I notice that players, they don't play straight on. They tend to rotate the pick like at a diagonal. I actually will sometimes use it on the guitar. See, if I go straight on and play my Dorian scale, you can hear, a very, very bright sound. If I turn the pick maybe 45 degrees, that may be a little too much, but it's kind of the same effect. Now notice I changed my dash, I changed my grip. Yeah, I'll send you a link. I think it's Wiegand picks. Wiegand picks, and they're made in Amsterdam, or they're made in the Netherlands. So that's pretty cool. Let's see the. Oh, hey TA, good to see you. Yeah, now it's hard to find shell picks because I think they're technically illegal to make them anymore. Is that Michael Mason? I need to learn to read music. Is that the secret to playing different instruments? Not really. The secret to playing different instruments, and some people, like, there were guitar players. Tommy Tedesco is famous for tuning everything like a guitar. So he would tune a mandolin like a guitar and a banjo like a guitar and everything. It was like, okay, just tune it like a guitar and then play it. But the problem is you lose a lot of the idiosyncrasies, the idiomatic voicings and scales and everything. Like the mandolin is really cool. Mandolin's tuned like a violin, and I love playing like triads on it. It's so fun. I can get the mandolin. Hold on a second. Let me go get it. I'll be right back. It's a cheap mandolin, so don't judge me. So um, so it's tuned G D A E. Now if you notice, it's the same as the bottom four strings of the guitar upside down. So envision a G chord on the guitar, right, like this, and you take those bottom four strings and put them upside down, and here's the G chord on the mandolin. I'm a little out of tune, but and I'm using the weakened pick. You know, so like this. So if I play a D note, that's a D triad. It takes a while to get your hands used to it. But the secret of learning, basically what I did was I tried to there was a big period of time where I was really trying to add an instrument a year to my thing. Now, people ask me why I have this foam in here. That's so I don't have sympathetic strings ring out when I go like do short stuff. Silent. See, if that weren't there, it would be like that. So for session work, sometimes. Yeah, no overtones. Yeah, so it's now, and then again, notice like when I pluck it like that, I'm playing the D string right now with the pick straight on. But if I turn it to the like if I rotate it, yeah. So if I'm doing like a kind of a Greek bouzouki thing, like if I was to play mandolin on say a mafia movie, right? You know, I might use the pick straight on to get that brighter sound. But if I want to do more of a bluegrass thing, I would turn the pick sideways or rotate it about 45 degrees so it's got a rounder sound. Okay, does that make sense? All right, so I changed instruments, so everybody take a sip. I missed some questions here. And like I said, I'd like to get a better mandolin. I just need to, right now it's not a good time, but I need to just take that mandolin out and go to a bunch of go to a few stores and A/B it and see if I can find something. I can't justify $5,000. So somebody was asking me earlier too about what do I think about producing. And largely it's film composers that hire me. Let's see, or composers that hire me for sessions. I'm working. I've got several composers that I work for on a regular basis. I'm basically what's called their number one call. I think. I know I'm number one call for 3 or 4 or 5 different composers, probably more than that. But if they're not needing guitar, on 3 or 4 soundtracks in a row, I won't hear from them. And oftentimes I'll be like, dang, did they find another guitar player? But then all of a sudden I get a ton of work from him, and I'm like, oh, and what have you been working on? He goes, well, I just haven't needed a guitar in 5 years. And I'm like, oh, okay, good. So you really can't read too much into that. I mean, I try to do the best work I can do for every buddy I work for. And So everyone I work for seems to be happy. But everyone I work for also knows 5 or 10 other guitar players. So it's not like they couldn't call someone else, or if they run into someone at a party or something, they're like, oh yeah, I need to call you for something. I got something I'm doing tomorrow. Why don't you do that? You know, that's going to happen. You can't really, I can't be everywhere and schmooze all the time. I don't ever schmooze. I'm really bad about it. How about a lesson on writing songwriting lyrics? Maybe write a song live. That would be dangerous. It is funny because I was talking about earlier. I got a cassette deck and I'm archiving all these old songs, and I may post some of them. We'll see. Most of them are very poorly recorded, and the transition also. Some of them, the tapes are not very good shape, so I'm actually having to really push the play button on the thing, which hurts. Like to hold it down for length of a song is really hard. I got to figure out a way to make because the felt pad behind the tape behind that resists the head, and some of the tapes is really like too squishy, so they won't play. So I'm having to push the playhead into the tape so that I can archive it. So it's a labor of love. But some of the tapes I'm like, some of them I'm just like recording, leave them in the other room, 30 minutes, per side, and then I'll edit and chop them up later. But I did a lot of lyric writing back in the day. I mean, I wrote all like lyrics and melody and music for all the songs for the first three or four of the bands I was in. I was the only one writing. So I wrote a lot of lyrics, and my lyrics tended to skew towards a little bit on the message side, not so much love, not worship necessarily, but more about like messagey, not Dylan to that effect, but more what I always used to say was I always like to paint an arrow on myself and shoot away. And so oftentimes my lyrics were in that realm where I was more like, I felt like it was therapeutic, psychological, therapy or something. But my lyrics, they just don't. That's why I don't write lyrics anymore, is because I can't write. Because now I'm working with so many young people writing music for their records. I'm really good at being kind of the start of it, writing the music, and then they write on top of that. So I don't know that I could write a good lyric anymore. It's like I listen to these old lyrics and I go, wow, those are really well thought out lyrics. One of my songs that I did that I thought, if I did a record, it would be on I think I did a video of it. I was born without depth perception, but I could always see the souls of men, shackled by quiet desperation, empty and falling vessels of torment. But thanks to the stranger who took the time lost hold on me and I'm taking time and not giving it back. Taking time and not giving it back. And I think about that lyric, and it's a pretty dark lyric. And it's about being a Christian and about the transformation that happens when you become a Christian and leaving the old world behind, the old you behind, and trying to embrace the new. And that's a I always say salvation is instant, sanctification is a lifelong process. So there are no perfect Christians, and if you come up on somebody who says they're a Christian and they let you down, that is 100% to be expected. So all Christians are hypocrites. They're always portrayed in the movies and TV shows as the hypocrites, and they're always the straw man, the Christians are in the movies. But I kind of like that, because at least, by Hollywood portraying Christians as hypocrites, they're admitting that Christians are not living up to the perfection that is Christ, that is Jesus. So I always find like and so that song is kind of about that, about not being perfect and disappointing people. But the lyrics are like, wow, those are great lyrics. And I wrote those probably 30 years ago. Yeah, and the channeling. I don't know who has. Simon Garfunkel. Yeah, maybe a little bit of that. They weren't as big an influence. People like let's see, who at that point when I was writing, some of my biggest influences like Peter. Let's see, Peter Case. I don't know if any of you know who Peter Case is. Um, Richard Thompson. I was listening to like his record he did, "Shoot Out the Lights," which is a really good record. Like around that time, Peter Case. I was listening to a lot of kind of Los Angeles alt folk. Uh, the Williams brothers, which is actually they're the nephews of Andy Williams, and they have a song that I just love that Beth and I did called. See if I can find it for you. It's a beautiful. Holly, I think you really love this song. Um, I can't. I don't want to play it because. In fact, I'm on mute. I don't know if I'm gonna find it. And it's a cover, actually. Oh yeah, here it is. 600. That doesn't make any sense. Andy and David Williams. You know, Marvin Enzioni wrote this song. Comments are turned on. It's so weird. Dave Stewart produced this song. That's crazy. Dave Stewart from Eurythmics. I did not know that. But Marvin Enzioni wrote it. Peter Asher was one of the producers. I didn't know that. I know Peter. I met Peter Asher. So check out this song when you get a chance. Beth and I used to perform this live. It might be one that, and I've met Dave Stewart too. I met Marvin. I met all these people. It's funny. I was in a band with Marvin's ex-wife, the guy who wrote this song. So I was kind of doing like in the early '90s, late '80s. There was a big alternative coffee shop folk scene in Los Angeles, and the Williams brothers were part of that. So was Marvin Enzioni and Lone Justice. I don't know if you remember the band Lone Justice, but they were kind of a fixture around here. Maria McKee, who was the lead singer for Lone Justice. All of that kind of stuff. So we were really kind of into that thing, and so it was a pretty niche market and to do Christian things. Yeah, I would. So writing lyrics today, you know, for pop stuff, the people I'm working with, totally different. Along the lines, write down everything I say. I speak in red letters, exactly. Let's see. So am I getting comments on my singing? Sorry about that. Yeah, sorry about my singing. I noticed the viewership is like plummeting right now. Yeah, Alex is writing a song a day, I think, which is crazy. Or at least I kind of had a thing when I was doing for a while where I was trying to come up with a melodic hook every day, and that could be anything. It could be classical, it could be pop, it could be jazz, it could be any kind of melody hook. You try to write one a day. As far as writing one song a year, that would be a very long record to make. So I think you could do better than that. But as far as songwriting, and I'm not an expert. And people often ask, what comes first, the lyrics or the melody or the chords? A lot of times, it's a concept. I very rarely would write lyrics before I start writing words, or melodies. Usually what I'm doing is I'm coming up with some kind of cool guitar thing, to be honest. And, like... Now, what is this song going to be about? And so I let the music kind of inspire the lyric, and the lyric should match the music. If I were to do, start singing about, biatches and hoes, that probably wouldn't fit the music. So I probably wouldn't write a lyric. Well, I wouldn't write a lyric like that anyway. But yeah, so I let the music kind of start to inspire the lyric and the melody. It should all sound like it all belongs together. That's one thing. although when I write with Kelly Jekyll, she has a book of lyrics. She writes a lot of lyrics and rarely has melody ideas until I sit down with a guitar and start noodling on something, and she goes, "Oh wait, I got the perfect lyric for that." So she'll go through her book and find something that she thinks fits that lyric. So again, that's her opinion of, you know, oh, this, she's letting the music inspire what lyric is going to fit that music. So let's see. On second thought, I think I will need to speed it up to 2-3 months. Yeah, here's the thing, Avito. Don't worry about perfect songs. Just, it's a muscle you have to flex. Just start flexing that muscle. It's like doing push-ups. You just got to start doing them. I'm pushing my muscles out right now, so it looks like I do push-ups. Which right now my shoulder's killing me, so it's really hard to do push-ups. I don't think I have a rotator cuff thing issue. It's just right there. It hurts really bad when I do push-ups, so it's like very little incentive. But you could write a song a day, even if it's a bad song. But it's getting the juices flowing, as they say. Get the water going down the river. You know, get that wheel turning, and write a song, and then put it aside and write another one, and record yourself, and chart your progress. You'll be amazed at how quickly, you know, you'll get better at it if you do it a lot. If you say, I want to write one song, do not try to write the perfect song. Just try to write a song. If you try to write a perfect song, you'll probably never finish it. That's a given. Let's see. What is gold? Michael Mason, what's gold? Let's see. You should be able to find good sounding mandolin around. Yeah, 59. I think you're probably right, Sam. Yeah, you know, and the A50, the Gibson A50s, yeah, the ones I've seen have been really like cracked, and they look dried out and everything. And so Flatiron's not a bad. Kentucky Eastman. So Eastman's are good. I always think Eastman's kind of a cheap, but they seem really overpriced, and so I guess it's not. I'll check out the Mandolin Cafe. I'll open it right now. Yeah, Mandolin Brothers is in Michigan, right? Boy, the site looks really familiar. I think I've been on this site before. Classifieds, forum, news, builders, learn. Okay. I wish I was if Bruce and I were closer, I think I'd say, hey, Bruce, let's build a mandolin. See if we can build one. That would be crazy. There'd be no way you could make a good one. I could make a good one. Yeah, Collings are up there. Kentucky, I'll have to check out. Yeah, so there's a lot of links here. Thank you for this. I can post a link for this copy. TA says, if I'm in a mood, can write a bunch of in a week's time. Yep, exactly right. Exactly right. TA. And that's kind of my thing with Justin Bieber. I think Justin Bieber and I have probably written 50 or 60 songs together. Because he asks me to send stuff, you know, and I'll send stuff in, and then he writes to him, and he writes these great songs, but never releases them. And it's like these songs are very personal and kind of therapy and stuff. And I'm like, so I'm kind of a therapist, helping him, you know, and writing. I think writing songs is a lot like writing in a journal. It's very therapeutic. I've always said that. And or even in my case, I tend to make songwriting more self-examining, short accounts kind of thing. Yeah, I'll check out that. Thanks, Sam. Yeah, I can also check out reverb.com too. I'm sure there's a lot of mandolins there. I would have a hard time buying an acoustic instrument without playing it though. The main thing, the thing that drives me crazy about the mandolin is that playing that A on the bottom string is always sharp, because it's just hard. You know, you almost have to tune the G string down a little bit so that when you play the G sharp or the A, especially the G sharp, is even worse. Like playing E chord. So, like I said, the mandolin is tuned like the bottom 4 strings of the guitar, okay, upside down. So like an E chord on the mandolin is this. See that? I got G sharp. I got I've got an E. I've got a B, and I've got another E. Okay, I don't know if you can see that, but basically it's, so an E chord on the guitar is this, and then a mandolin, it's that. So you can see it's, on the guitar it's 2-2-1 like this, but on mandolin it's basically the bottom 4 strings upside down. And like I said, G, which is normally 3-2-0-0-0-3, becomes 0-0-2-3 on the mandolin. So you can kind of pick up some chords pretty quick. D, if you played like D with an F sharp in the bass, like your thumb around the corner, you know, like this, 2-0-0-2-3-2, that would be D. Sorry, let me put this in there. Technically D over F sharp, but if you play 2-0-0-2, that would be D in mandolin, like this. So it's kind of cool. Now E minor is hard to play. I usually play like this. I play it like that just because it's really difficult to get 2 fingers in there, especially my 2 fingers. My hands are fairly big, so. But you can play E minor this way. You know, I should. If you all went out and bought mandolins, we could do a mandolin lesson. But that would be. But it's a good little instrument to start on. Yeah, I have. My mandolin has intonation issues on the bottom string. That G sharp was sharp, so it just drives me crazy. Let's see. What else we got? Yeah, no, I agree, Aslan. And yeah, I mean, I really am a big fan of the singer-songwriter thing, and that's not so prevalent today. It was a big thing in the 60s and 70s, especially in the folk music business, in the folk music world. But James Taylor generally wrote his own songs. You know, big fan of James Taylor. Simon and Garfunkel wrote their own songs. It's less today. Although, so with Justin, the second song we ever wrote together was a song called Yellow Raincoat. It was really one of the first songs where he really got introspective of his situation in life. And it was a very therapeutic song for him to write and perform. And he did it live. And it's crazy because I saw him do it live. And I was at the arena with 20,000 people watching Justin sing that song live, and they all knew the words, and I'm just looking around. I have a video of it. It was like, this is insane that everybody knows my song. It was like one of the coolest nights of my life. It just happened to be my birthday too. So I was in Indianapolis, and I took my mom and my daughter and my niece to see Justin in Indianapolis. It was a very, very fun night. It's all in fifths, exactly. So everything's very, very symmetrical, Sam. And it makes, I think in some ways, learning scales and stuff like that are a little easier. Now you do end up with 4-finger scales though. So the frets are smaller, like it's the same scale range as a mandolin or violin. That's why it's called mandolin. So, okay. See you later, Sam. Thank you so much. I got to go too. It's already been 2 hours. So, hopefully I got enough lesson in here. I got to write a song. So I'm going to write a song using the G Dorian. The name wise, I'm not sure what we're going to call it yet. I may have to leave it nameless, and we'll have to come up with a name on Wednesday, okay? But I will see you all on Wednesday. Thank you. Holly, thank you so much for the coin. That really is appreciated, and I really do appreciate that. Gosh, oh, this is all the way back there. It goes into the Starbucks fund, indeed, and or the new mandolin fund. I should try to do some kind of fundraiser. No, but I do need to get a better mandolin. It would be really nice to have a good one. So I will probably go out and play. The other thing is I may take a trip, and if there's a store that has a lot of mandolins, like if there's a store in, like, I would love to go back to Michigan, and if there's a store, you know, if I go to the Mandolin Brothers, I think they've moved everything online though for COVID, so I'm not gonna be able to see anything in person. So call it nameless, exactly. There's a name. I mean, we may go with the McNugget principle of the McNugget number. It's a legitimate thing. Good to see you, Holly. Good to see everybody too. Oh, I got to drag these. I did not put these in the Discord, so let me go to the Discord and drag these bits, these 2 new shapes. Let's see, where are they? Here and here. and they are now at the Discord site, so you can download them. If you're creating a document with all the scales in it, you can do that now. Okay. I need to do some more business of making music lessons. When did I do these? Do these? Like, when did I start doing these? The reason I ask is because I got the sound off. Here we go. The reason I ask is because I'm wondering if I did them now. Yeah, these were largely done before my channel blew up, back when I only had a few subscribers. So if I did one now, it wouldn't be very relevant to the beginner. That's the problem. So I might lose subscribers if I actually did more of them, which is kind of sad, because I really do have a lot of inside baseball information I could share to help people make a It's kind of why I started the channel, was I was wanting guitar players to start, transition into being pros. I'm not afraid of competition, because God is my provider. So the write down everything I say song. Okay. Okay. So what was it? Oh wait, I wrote down a name here. Holly, help me here. Why did I write down nuts or celery? What was that about? But I will write down everything I say. Which is a pretty funny title for an instrumental song, actually. And actually, I like that title for it. Thanks, Paul. You'd still watch it, Dennis, if I did? Yeah. Joseph, thank you so much. Everybody's gone. Everybody's leaving. It's so funny. I say goodbye and everybody leaves, and it's like, dang it. And then I have a question. So I don't remember why I wrote nuts or celery on here. That's so funny. But I literally wrote that. I think that was because I remember writing down, thinking, write down the song title. So, but write down everything I say is a pretty good one. I think that's a pretty good title. So we may have to go with that one, because that was one I mentioned before, I think, right? So, okay, now I have to start working on it. Anyway, God bless you guys. I will see you on Wednesday, Lord willing, and we'll try to further this Dorian thing, okay? And I probably will put blues notes in the song, okay? So probably will have the blues notes in there. Oh, sorry. I'm done. Aslan. You just jumped in. Did I change the footer in 2021? Yes, I did. Sad Dad Bachelor Pad says 2021. So yeah, I'm pretty good at that. I even did because it's not a copy and paste thing. I have to enter. I actually have to literally enter it every time, so I can't do it wrong. I mean, I could, but you know what I'm saying. Okay, later, Mosh. Good to see you.